Let's speak now to the Conservative MP and the chair of the prominent European research group, Jacob Rees-Mogg. The ERG, of course, wants to see Brexit happening. And I mean, I probably shouldn't ask you this, but I will. I mean, you're not for budging on this deal tonight, are you?
No, I'll be voting against the withdrawal agreement because I don't believe it delivers Brexit. And you set out very clearly some of the issues that there are, the divorce payment, the issue with the backstop and in relation to Northern Ireland and its relationship with Great Britain, and of course that in the backstop we'd remain in a customs union potentially indefinitely. So it's not a good deal, it's not delivering in Brexit, and therefore I will vote against it.
Do you believe, as Arlene Foster, the DUP leader, was setting out just a short while ago, that actually there is the opportunity to go back to the EU and get some better deal, particularly in relation to that backstop?
Well, I think it'd be the right thing to try. The EU made an offer of a Canada-style deal about a year ago. I think we should have accepted that. Basically, we should say to the EU, you want our money, we want a trade deal. Let's exchange one for the other and do it on that basis.
Some of your colleagues who I've spoken to today have suggested that ardent Brexiteers like yourself are, throwing away the opportunity here to get Brexit. It may not be the perfect Brexit, the pure Brexit that you want, but it is Brexit nonetheless. What do you say to them?
Well, Parliament legislated last year so that we will leave on the 29th of March with or without a deal. It passed the Withdrawal Act just under 2 years ago to the same effect, so that we leave under EU law and UK law at 11 o'clock in the evening on the 29th of March, unless new legislation is passed. So what are we throwing away?
Well, what do you think we're throwing away?
Well, a bad deal, and that's what we're throwing away, and we will leave, therefore, unless something else is put in its place without a deal. But that's nothing to be frightened of, and in some ways brings the benefits of Brexit earlier, because we'll be able to lift tariffs on goods from outside the European Union, cutting the cost particularly of food, clothing and footwear, benefiting the least well-off in our society the most.
But many of your colleagues, and there does appear to be a consensus to avoid no deal, say there is much to be frightened of. How can you reassure people out there who are concerned about their jobs, about the amount of money that there might be for public services, etc.? How can you reassure them?
Well, I'd say one thing to this apparent consensus against no deal. Ask them why they voted for it not once but twice. Ask these MPs why they voted for Article 50, which set out a 2-year time frame, and why they voted for the Withdrawal Act to mean that we would leave on the 29th of March. As regards the economic situation when we leave, the opportunities that come from saving £39 billion of taxpayers' money mean that that can be used to pay for any particular difficulties there may be. But cutting the cost of imports from outside the EU, making our economy more competitive, is going to be extremely beneficial. And all the gloomsters, the prophets of doom, are the people who prophesied doom before, and they've been wrong in all their earlier forecasts.
Well, let me just quote one. I don't know if you would call the CBI, the Confederation of British Industries, doomsters, but they talk about the economic consequences of no deal being profound and widespread and lasting, and GDP falling by between 5 and 8% if there is no deal. So who are people to believe?
Oh, definitely not the CBI. The CBI gets everything wrong. It said we should remain in the exchange rate mechanism, which was a disastrous economic policy. It campaigned for us to join the euro. The CBI doesn't represent the vast majority of businesses in the United Kingdom. It represents a few strong incumbents who want to maintain their protected position, and it gets money from the EU anyway. So what would you expect it to say? You
got your numbers wrong, to be fair, when it came to those letters of no confidence in the Prime Minister, so people get things wrong all the time, don't they?
Up to a point, Lord Copper, we seem to get to those numbers. So a day or two here or there is a mere bagatelle.
Let's talk about tonight then, and as predicted and expected, the deal is going to be defeated. What should Theresa May's plan be to follow on immediately? Is it go back to the EU in the first instance? Is it to extend Article 50?
Well, I think she must go back to the EU in the first instance to say this deal has been rejected, it doesn't work. Can we have a simpler deal along the lines you offered about a year ago of a comprehensive free trade deal based on existing examples of things that the EU has done? And for an implementation period, and for this deal, we will pay you £39 billion. The EU gets the money that it needs, we get the trade deal that we want, and an implementation period. That seems the basis of a deal where everybody wins, and it's always puzzled me why the government didn't go down this route before. and develop such a complex agreement that basically shadows membership of the European Union.
Let's see what the next 24 hours bring. Jacob Rees-Mogg, thank you very much for your time.